stream. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Jacob Cast 2024. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about the masses and the news and rumors. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below you guys want to see more. Enjoy this video. My live stream can be like an hour and 10 minutes. Might be shorter. This is the go home show for Sunday main event. That's this Sunday. Now my video was sponsored by Fightful Pro Wrestling, JD from New York, selling off the sound off, and other podcasters and YouTubers I know of, like Shanti, Joe Cronin, D. Salcedo, No DQ. We see a lot on this show here. Based on what we saw on Monday Night Raw tonight, the show opened up with Gunther. He called out John Cena. He said, "I will force John Cena to give up in the final match," which means tap out, give up, which is the one thing John Cena's never done. I'm not sure if I like Gunther's new theme song. I kind of miss the old one. Logan Paul is part of the vision. There was no CM Punk. I heard that CM Punk took time off because his dog died. His dog Larry passed away. So maybe that's why I wasn't here. He had to wait the funeral, I guess. So he went on TV again. He's not going to be on Sunday main event, I don't think. Now, the matches on the show, we got Kairi Sane versus Io Sky. Io Sky defeated Kairi Sane. That was the first match on Raw. A very good match. Very good. We were supposed to get Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor. I don't think it got started. The masked assailant, the same masked guy that we saw in Survivor Series, he came out. For some reason, he gave Rey Mysterio a super kick as he brawled with Logan Paul. So he went after Rey Mysterio. I don't know why. Is it Austin Theory or is it someone else? We just don't know. We have to wait. It's not going to be Chris Jericho. It's not Seth Rollins. Rollins just had surgery. And no, it's not. That's not Chris Jericho. Unless it's Javon Evans, which I don't see happening. Why does he need to be here? Had to be Austin Theory. We did get AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus the War Raiders for the tag team titles in a very good match. They retained their tag team titles. Dragon Lee and AJ Styles will be on Saturday Night main event against the NXT star Leon Slater and Javon Evans. That's on Saturday Night main event. I think it's non-title. The Usos reunite to confront Styles, Dragon Lee, and the New Day. So I get the Usos reunite. Jey Uso been demoted back to the tag team because he's not going to be going after no single champion. He's not going to have no title, so going to tag team with his brother. We could look at the New Day and the Uso feud. They do have a classic rivalry. We also got Raquel Rodriguez and Nikki Bella. They demand a title shot against Stephanie Vaquer. After Nikki lost at Survivor Series last week, now she wants a rematch. And then we got Raquel. She comes out. She wants to go after the title. How come Liv Morgan's not going after the title? They also show a vignette. It's a memorable John Cena moment. While Sam Perez defeated Lyra with the help of Liv Morgan. So she's being built up pretty good. She might go after the mid-card title from Maxine. And then Raquel go after the championship from Stephanie. We'll just have to see what happens there. Maxine Dupree trained to be a fighting champion. She had a nice vignette here, and I trained at the side with Natalya. We haven't seen Natalya on TV. I don't think she's watching the match in a while. And then the main event was LA Knight and Logan Paul. That was the main event.
deserves a little more. In the Mazda CX.
I'm trying to show us on the podcasters here.
I delayed my trip. I said I'll check it out. That is only for your eyes. We're going above and beyond. Thank you so much to every single person that reached deep down into their pocket and showed love because you love with your generosity of super chat.
Braun Breaker, he was like, and this is Braun, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna do that to Santi when he gets in here.
Here's Joe Conan. John Cena interview.
Well, let's.
Is it really live?
Choose any food item from the Paddock Lounge menu and get a $10 game card for.
It's like this is possible. There was no youth football in West Newbury. I didn't touch a football like to play until I was 15. But at 15, when you get your first pads, your jersey, and your helmet,
bouncing around awkwardly into the ropes, it was not what they intended, I think. So then we had Ivar regaining the advantage. He did the moonsault, but AJ Styles made the save at the last second. Styles then came back in. Styles gave Eric a Hurricane Rana into...
Nobody's going to go to jail for this or anything like that. Like, it's just not a real thing. No real lawsuit will happen there. Contract...
I mean, it made no difference whatsoever who won. And then, of course, we got to our main event. And it was Logan against LA Knight, outside interference. Logan loses. So, Logan in the main event is a bit frustrating, but probably not surprising. He is aligned with the Vision now. But LA Knight losing is one thing. You know, I think fans can...
And Dragon Lee defeated the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. Javon Evans was at ringside, and I'm just like, man, bring him up already.
Man, I've honestly loved doing the post show with you, Santi. It's been great. And yeah, I'm happy with everybody that's come through, that's enjoyed the show and everything. So thank you so much to everyone who has supported the Raw Post Show and continues to support the Raw Post Show. So let's get into it. Monday Night Raw. There are some, this is an interesting Raw because even though there weren't like, the whole entire show wasn't like this breakout Raw. Some people were saying this was like an average, forgettable episode. There were some things that did go down on the show that had me like, okay, this is happening. I want to kick things off, though, with Braun Breaker. Let's kind of start there because last week Braun Breaker did hit like this awesome promo, right? And he went at it again, right? So now I think Braun's got a taste of what it's like to be on the mic, and I think now he's kind of addicted to it because you can tell he was really excited about it.
I will say, I do think that it was a significant downgrade from the promo last week, but it's still nice to have Braun Breaker be on the microphone and not rely on Paul Heyman, who seems to just be full-time introducing the Vision every single episode of Monday Night Raw. Too much of the grabbing the low-hanging fruit, though, you know, back-to-back promos talking about the wife, you know, hey, your wife's a bigger star. Hey, I'm going to take your wife. All right, brother. Okay. We can do something more surface level than just going for the wives here.
But you know that's like the kind of comedy that is, you can tell it's funny to Braun Breaker, though, and that it's funny to like... Okay, Santi, I was saying this earlier, but you tell me, okay? You tell me, and everybody here in the chat can tell me, is that the way guys talk in locker rooms? Because that's the vibe that I got, that's why they were using that kind of language, because I figured, okay, I guess this is how guys, you know, talk in the locker room. I don't know.
I mean, I guess, I sure, but, like, I mean, I don't talk like, I'm not, you know, pulling out I'm gonna bang your wife, you know, on a pretty regular basis. Maybe like when I was like 20, you know, or playing football or whatever, you know, you might get some of that language, but like, I don't know, man, maybe I'm just a grown adult now and I'm like, oh, that is childish.
Well, I mean, look, Santi, you're obviously in my age group here. All right. Oh, actually, wait, Ron's only 20. What is he? He's 28. Okay, he's only like a couple years younger. For whatever reason, I thought he was like 24. I was going to say he's way younger, so his comedy is totally different.
I don't know, man. It's not even like. But here's the thing. I don't even think that was supposed to be funny. I think it was supposed to be like, oh, kind of thing. I don't think
that's funny.
I don't think that's comedy. I think it's supposed to be like, I got him real good, like a big zinger within the promo. I didn't think it was meant to be like a baduntush kind of joke.
Oh, see, that's
you know
the way
what
I
I think?
took it.
You know what I thought was supposed to be a baduntush, cringy ass joke that did not land? Is I'm gonna prom break you. What?
Oh, I was like, that's new. I've never heard him say I'm gonna broad break you. But you know that's just being said for a fucking t-shirt.
That's just gonna be a t-shirt. You know
Literally.
what? I feel like that promo was just Braun Breaker trying to see what could be turned into a t-shirt. Yeah, he's like, I need some t-shirt sales. Let me just come up with some shit that you can just plaster on and sell with a crappy ass design.
And he also hit CM Punk with the joke that everyone that has ever feuded with CM Punk has said, that he's the straight edge guy who looks like a crackhead.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure MJF did that during their feud.
Literally everybody has done that. I feel like I've heard that like a zillion times. I mean, it's funny, but it's definitely not anything that's new.
Yeah. It's like I can't remember what show it is. It might have been The Office, but there's a character that needs to do a best man speech, and he starts his speech with all of the most generic best man speech quotes that you can think of, like Webster's dictionary defines marriage, and then his whole speech is just generic opening lines to a best man speech as he waits to see what gets the audience's attention. I feel like that was Braun Breaker's promo, just like trying to say different things to catch on, to make something catch on, so that, all right, that's our new chant, Spear 1, 2, 3, that's what we're gonna go with.
He's finding himself, Santi, okay? This is like the coming of age promo part of Braun Breaker's career, okay? I'm rooting for him. But here's the thing, though. I feel like with him, when he was saying the spear 1, 2, 3, spear 1, 2, 3, now that he said it, he kind of has to go out there and do it.
Yeah, it's true. You've set the pace, you've set the expectation. What's interesting is that we have a couple of pieces in play that could ruin Braun Breaker winning on January 5th. We still have this masked man that they refuse to reveal. And then we also have the potential maybe return of LA Knight, if maybe they're writing him off for him to maybe return on January 5th to cost Braun Breaker and cost the Vision. So those are a couple of the third-party people that are in play that could prevent Braun Breaker from hitting Spear 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because coming off the Braun Breaker promo, I was thinking, oh shit, like they need to strap Braun Breaker. Like, this is it. He's going to go out there and he's a Spear 1, 2, 3 CM Punk, and it's going to be done with. And so that's the direction that I thought that they were going in. But the aftermath that unfolded was LA Knight being taken out by a tsunami splash on the roof of a vehicle. Very, very brutal. Someone reminded me the last time we saw something similar to this was Ricochet, who was ridden off, and then sayonara. Next thing you know, we see him, and he's all elite, right?
Yeah, he hasn't returned yet from this injury.
Poor guy. So here's the thing, though. LA Knight, we all know that he really hasn't gotten too lucky as of late. He hasn't really caught his big break just yet, and it feels like we're straying further and further from that. I like that you saw this like part of him being like written off for the time being as a possibility for him to resurface on the January 5th show, because I saw it as, oh shit, man, they're writing him off till God knows when. I don't know what's happening next for LA Knight.
Don't get me wrong, I think I'm trying to find the silver lining. That could very well be right. Like, maybe they're just writing him off for a really long time. But I just see, that January 5th episode being really big in a good place to make an LA Knight have a big, impactful return. And the stage is set for a big return to happen at that main event against CM Punk. It's possible. But I do think I'm being optimistic with that. I think that it is a strong likelihood that we're just writing him off till the Rumble or beyond the Rumble, beyond Mania, and there's just nothing for him.
Well, hopefully not. I feel like there's got to be some follow-up with this. And you mentioned the Masked Man, who we got to see throughout multiple times throughout the show. Are you hot for it? I'm just like, oh yeah, the Masked Man. There he
I
is
don't.
dead.
I am not hot for this at all whatsoever. Wake me up when it ends. Wake me up when they reveal it. Then I'll care. Like I couldn't. That's what I was going for there. I'm glad you caught on to that. I couldn't care less. I genuinely can. Reveal it. This is not interesting enough to warrant this long-term storytelling and carrot on the end of the stick. All that's going to happen is that it's going to be an underwhelming reveal. The more that they put it off, the more that they keep teasing it, the more that it keeps appearing, the more that they keep pushing it off, the more that fans will demand that it's a big name and a big face. And when it's an Austin Theory, it's gonna land fucking flat. You heard it here. It's going to land flat as hell.
They're gonna hide
But we
behind
knew
his
that,
excuses.
Santi, from the second that they didn't reveal it at Survivor Series. That was the biggest red flag in the entire thing. And now, like, this is the right now where we're at. This is the sexiest part. This is the sexiest it's gonna get. Like, that's it. Like, this is it right here. Like, it's the mystery and the allure of who's behind this masked man and what's gonna happen. But then once it's all out there in the open, that's done with. I don't know. I feel nervous about it because, like you said, if it is Austin Theory, I really like Austin Theory. I think he's gonna be a guy, like a top guy at some point, but it's gonna take some work to get there. And right now, if they were to reveal him, it will come across as a dud, which is unfortunate, but that's just the situation that we're in with that. Alrighty, we got a couple of super chats here. We got Mr. GRK Chef 13 who says, "Are Liv Morgan and Roxanne headed for a WrestleMania match? If so, I'm good with that." That's one of the things that I'm curious about because specifically with Liv Morgan, she came out here and since she came back, she's been very selfless. She's been very giving. She's been perky. She seems very excited about the potential of what the Judgment Day is doing. And it got me wondering, is this genuine or is it not genuine? And I'm leaning towards it not being so genuine after all.
I'm leaning towards it being not genuine at all. I can already kind of sniff out what's going to happen. All right, let's save this clip and come back to it at the Royal Rumble. All right, Liv Morgan will eliminate Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, and Liv will win the Royal Rumble. She will be selfish, and she will take her moment in the light. We're going to get all of this like pampering and loving of the Judgment Day girls, only for Roxanne and Raquel to get eliminated by Liv Morgan at the Rumble. Because my big prediction is Liv wins the Rumble and goes to WrestleMania to face off to whoever the champion is. I still think that that's going to be the case. They already teased Stephanie Vaquer, and they didn't pull the trigger on it, right? They're doing Raquel, and maybe they do somebody else after this. Maybe they continue with Nikki Bella. I don't know. But my prediction has always been Liv winning the Royal Rumble and going to Mania. And if you want to pay off her being nice and not being genuine, she eliminates the Judgment Day girls at the Rumble.
Oh shit, I gotta tell you, I love that idea. I hadn't even to be honest, I hadn't really considered who was gonna win the Women's Royal Rumble. But now that you threw out this idea, I'm kind of in love with it. I'd say do it. Come on, let's do it.
I agree.
Do it. All right, and I do see Liv and Roxanne could be that WrestleMania match, or Liv and Stephanie, wherever they decide to end up by then, man. Thank you so much, Mr. GRK Chef 13. We also had, speaking of Stephanie, we did have a kick-ass little promo by Stephanie, and you mentioned Nikki going out there, and I think everybody had the same reaction of like, why is Nikki out here again? Like, we thought this was over. But Raquel ended up practically killing Nikki Bella, leaving her with face planted on the floor. But she kind of got a little nasty with Stephanie, calling her a perra.
Yeah.
No, that was nasty.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do too.
Feel about it?
No, that's great. That's great. I do believe that WWE is doing anything and everything in their power to keep all of the main eventers away from Stephanie. It's like they're trying to save them, right? Like Rhea, tag team and mixed tag match. Io, get in the tag team. Everyone else that we want to see go up against Stephanie, tag team division. It looks like they're just kind of feeding Stephanie all of like the mid-card, upper mid-card people to help build and develop her reign going through to WrestleMania season, etc. And I think Raquel Rodriguez is an awesome next step there. I don't foresee Raquel Rodriguez winning, but I think you have to be blind, deaf, and dumb to not, at the very least, be excited at that match, even if it's not Raquel winning. but Raquel has been doing some of the best work of her career, and she's going to go up against somebody that is literally in the prime of her career in terms of her in-ring work, and Stephanie Paquette, and arguably the best women's professional wrestler that WWE has right now. You're going to put her up against somebody that's putting some of the best work that she's done in Raquel Rodriguez. Hell yeah. I love that they're capitalizing on the improvement of Raquel Rodriguez's in-ring work with this.
Oh, big time, big time. This has been like the best year that she's ever had. Like, I was afraid when like Liv Morgan was out, like what this was gonna do to Raquel. She went on to have that awesome match with Rhea Ripley. She made the headlines with people talking about her improvement in the ring, and she's been delivering ever since. So I feel like she's started to find herself. Who she is without Liv Morgan by her side, and even with Roxanne, Roxanne didn't necessarily overwhelm nor overshadow Raquel, which I think is important. We got Jay and Gwen here who says, all right, which one you got more? I'm gonna Braun break you versus Suffering Succotash son. Did I say that right? I don't even think I said that.
Yeah,
right.
that's the Roman Reigns Suffering Succotash, and then winking at the camera. No, Suffering
I don't
Succotash is
remember
way
that
worse.
one.
You
don't
do
remember
not
that one.
remember Suffering
No.
Succotash? It is arguably one of the worst lines in a promo ever. He said
No, I don't remember.
I'm about to show y'all some news and rumors here. Netflix kills AEW.
Your truck was built to dominate, but is it reaching its full
Hold on.
potential? Meet Pedal Commander, the ultimate upgrade for
You know, a lot of people wanted me to talk about the Netflix purchase of Warner Brothers Discovery for $82.7 billion. And everybody on social media is looking at it in one particular way. Everybody on social media is looking at it in this one and only way. How does it affect All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan? Now, I understand that tribalism runs deep in the IWC, but this definitely affects more than just the landscape of professional wrestling. I understand that there's a lot of people that want AEW to go out of business for one reason or another, but I don't think anything right now is going to happen to AEW as a brand. Today we're going to go over what this deal actually means as far as AEW and why you should really be concerned about Netflix purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery and what it means for Hollywood and the consolidation of a lot of different IPs and all the power that now rests in the lap of Netflix. We're going to go over that today right here on Off the Script. It is your Saturday, December 6th, 2025. This will probably release early for all my VIPs. Everybody else will get this on Sunday, the 7th of December. So if you guys are wondering why this is uploading late, it is for that particular reason. My VIPs are going to get it early. You know, a lot of people are looking at this in regards to AEW like this is going to kill AEW. I want to make it abundantly clear. Netflix is not going to kill AEW. I'm going to say this probably a lot of times in this particular upload. The only thing that's going to kill AEW is AEW. The only thing that's going to kill All Elite Wrestling is Tony Khan himself. This is a problem that AEW has created. Netflix has nothing to do with the death of AEW. They will die because of their refusal to change. What does this mean for All Elite Wrestling? $82.7 billion purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery. This will probably not be finalized until the third or fourth quarter of 2026. This is now pending all legalities and obviously government approval, so things could go awry and things could certainly change in the time between now and then. Netflix might not even be looking as the purchaser of Warner Brothers Discovery. Something may happen and someone else may swoop in. We don't know. We don't know. Landmark announcement was made on Friday that will reshape the entertainment industry. Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery announced this week that Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers for a total of $82.7 billion. This deal was announced on the 5th of December, immediately raising questions about the future of AEW's television home, TNT and TBS. However, a closer look at the transaction details reveals that AEW's current broadcast partners will not be part of the Netflix acquisition. So what is Netflix actually acquiring? The deal includes Warner Brothers Films and Television Studios, HBO, and HBO Max. So that will definitely affect AEW. That's not their main home. Their main home is TNT and TBS, which will be unaffected here because they are not included in the overall purchase from what Netflix is buying. So HBO and HBO Max, all those, not including the Max numbers every week, yeah, that's going out the window. This means Netflix will gain access to iconic franchises and libraries including Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, The Sopranos, which I still haven't watched yet, Jesse. Maybe one of these days I will. Friends, and the DC Universe. What's not included? TNT Sports will stay separate. Crucially for wrestling fans, TNT Sports and the cable networks that carry AEW programming are not a part of the Netflix acquisition. Prior to the deal closing, which is expected to close anywhere between Q3 and Q4 of next year, Warner Brothers Discovery will complete a previously announced separation of its global networks division into a new publicly traded company called Discovery Global. This separate company will retain TNT Sports in the United States, including TNT and TBS, CNN, Discovery Channels, Bleacher Report, Discovery Plus, and free-to-air channels across Europe. This means AEW Dynamite, Collision, and other AEW programming will continue to air on networks owned by Discovery Global, not Netflix. What this means for AEW. AEW signed the new media rights deal with Warner Brothers Discovery in 2024, keeping the promotion on TNT and TBS through 2028. Since those networks will remain with Discovery Global, AEW's current television arrangement appears unaffected by the Netflix acquisition. However, the separation does create some uncertainty about the long-term future of the company. Discovery Global will be a smaller standalone company focused on cable networks and sports at a time when the industry continues shifting towards streaming. How that company prioritizes live sports and wrestling content remains to be seen. Meaning, in so many words, AEW will not get anywhere close to what they're making now, especially with them being down over 50% of losing their audience year over year over year over year, dating back to 2023. WWE and Netflix are clearly in bed, obviously. A mega money deal to bring Monday Night Raw to Netflix every Monday. This acquisition comes as Netflix has already made significant inroads into professional wrestling. Raw moved to Netflix in January of 25 as part of a 10-year deal reportedly worth $5 billion. Netflix has the option to extend that another 10 years, making it 20 years total. Again, that remains to be seen if WWE will be with Netflix all 20 years. Streaming giant has also produced wrestling adjacent content, including documentaries and the Wrestlers docuseries about Ohio Valley Wrestling. With Warner Brothers production capabilities now under its umbrella, Netflix could theoretically expand its wrestling ambitions, though no such plans were announced as part of today's deal, nor will there be plans announced because that is at the bottom of the list of things to worry about as far as Netflix is concerned. What does the bigger picture look like? The transaction values Warner Brothers Discovery at $27.75 per share. Now, I know Tony Khan was validated and on Netflix. Netflix is going... And this is where it gets kind of fuzzy. And this is where Tony Khan is never going to allow himself to feel weak in front of the media. This is where Tony Khan is not going to show his poker face here. He's going to say everything is great. He's going to lie and bullshit the media like he usually does because he doesn't know any better. This is where it gets kind of fucked up. AEW has seen a decrease of 15 to 20% year over year over year. They lost half of their audience from 2022, both in the overall viewership and the demo. This is factual information. I don't give a shit what they're doing on TNT. I don't give a shit what they're doing on TBS, and I don't certainly give a shit about what they're doing on Max, because all the numbers are fabricated. Every single member of the pro wrestling media has lied to you for Tony Khan. 500,000 is nothing more than a fabrication. I'm going to tell you guys one thing that is going to sit with you in this get anywhere close to the 180 for the last 3 fucking years, and you lost your audience year over year over year to a point where nobody's coming back. Oh. The consumers, job wage cuts will work.
I look on the Solomon, their sound offs, leading to hit news and rumors. And then I'll get back into Monday Night Raw review.
I chose Purdue Global because the faculty understood the biggest story of the week is a potentially seismic shift in the entertainment world, one that will have far-reaching consequences, including for the pro wrestling landscape. Although what those consequences are is something that we don't really yet fully understand, and we're not going to for a while. The news was broken by TheWrap.com late Thursday, but has since been made official. I'll just read you from this email I got directly from Netflix on Saturday morning, which I'm sure many of you got as well if you're a subscriber. We recently announced that Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers, including its film and television studios, HBO Max, and HBO. This unites our leading entertainment service with Warner Brothers' iconic stories, bringing some of the world's most beloved franchises like Harry Potter, Friends, The Big Bang Theory, Casablanca, Game of Thrones, and the DC Universe, together with Stranger Things, Wednesday, Squid Game, Bridgerton, and K-pop Demon Hunters. That's one that I missed. Should I begin watching K-pop Demon Hunters? It sounds kind of interesting, I'm not gonna lie. So they say, what's changing? Nothing is changing today. Both streaming services will continue to operate separately. We have more steps to complete before the deal is closed, including regulatory and shareholder approvals. You'll hear from us when we have more to share. So yes, Netflix has, for now, won the bidding war for Warner Brothers Discovery, who is, of course, AEW's media rights partner. This was something of a shock, as most of the chatter and the news stories had Paramount Skydance and the Ellison family getting it, which would have been bad enough. This is also pretty bad. I don't see any of these potential names getting it being a good thing. And Paramount may still yet end up getting it. There's still a long way to go before this becomes official. But The Wrap was first to report that Netflix had hit the magic $30 a share target that David Zaslav was looking for. Deadline.com says they offer $28 a share. The deal is said to be valued at $82.7 billion. And under an effort nicknamed Project Noble, Netflix leadership secured $59 billion in financing from a consortium of banks to assemble the deal. Netflix says the buy would give users more choice and let they were the front runner to buy the $5.8 billion window for movie viewers elsewhere, but that was one of the means, though, are the time for AEW beyond the next year or two is lying to you. They don't know. Nobody knows. The TNT and TBS titles would cease to exist.
Alright, let's go into the reason why John Cena's heel turn failed. Was never gonna work.
Cena has also been making the media rounds. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was a lot more laid back than he is in pretty much any other interview he does where he sounds like a robot. The Rogan one I'm not even done with. It was like 2 hours long. I'm probably halfway through it. I mean, there's really nothing of any great news value to dive into. I just think it's been a mostly enjoyable listen so far. He's got an hour-long one dropping tomorrow with Chris Van Vliet, which should be good. But it's the interview he did with Bill Simmons that made headlines. Really, to work a full WWE calendar this year, 220 dates, but that the company told him they only needed him for 36.
This is what he said. The plan originally was to do a full year. This goes to show my ignorance of the business. I wanted to do 220 dates. Just take the year off from everything, hop on a bus, do a full WWE calendar, and totally say goodbye. Thank goodness the business isn't like that anymore. I would be done. They only needed me for 36. He did end up acting during the year. He said a full-time schedule would have been too ambitious. He said, I did too many jobs. I was in Budapest, flying to Indy, do Indy, fly back, land, go film, doing that until post-WrestleMania. Back and forth to Morocco, Budapest, all these crazy places that were not easy commutes. You think you can do it. Oh, I'll sleep on the plane. You don't. It doesn't happen. Then you get upside down and you're super fatigued. I threaded the needle just enough. If he offered to do a full schedule and WWE said they only needed him for 36 dates, they're out of their fucking minds. Especially now, when it would have been great near the end of this run to have him around for promos before the match with AJ Styles at Crown Jewel and before the match with Gunther next weekend. The dates they did have him for, it was mostly sellouts everywhere they went. At least meet in the middle and maybe double the number of dates that he ended up doing. I mean, they're out of their minds if they turned that down. Again, maybe he's just kind of explaining it the wrong way. I just find it incredibly difficult to believe that he was offering, hey, I'll do whatever you need me for. And they were like, nah, we just need you for 36. We're good. But if they could have had him for 60, music change, a uniform. First of all, the idea that it takes 5 years for someone to get over is ludicrous. Unless he's talking about only at the very... Good stories are not the driving force in this company.
Mom, Dad, Mother David, happy holidays.
David.
They're pitching Cody Rhodes' heel turn and Mania plans.
Raw on Monday night was hardly the epic show that Triple H promised after Survivor Series. Still a solid show. I enjoyed it, but why he feels the need to exaggerate like that, I don't know. CM Punk was not there. They claimed that he was not medically cleared coming out of War Games, but the real reason is because Larry the Dog passed away. I didn't even realize it at the time. He came out at Survivor Series wearing a Larry's Dad jacket, knowing that Larry had just died, and then he had to go out there and put his game face on like that is really sad. Because when you really go back and look, he does look very depressed, almost. He looks very sad. I don't know exactly when Larry died, if it was the day before, if it was earlier that week, I have no idea. But, you know, if you've ever lost a pet, you know what that pain is like. It's like losing a member of the family, because they are members of the family. And anyone who says otherwise, I feel sorry for you, that you've gone through life without ever knowing what that bond is like. I don't know how old Larry was, but I know Punk and AJ adopted him from the Paws Rescue in Chicago about 11 years ago. Paws is a no-kill shelter. They named him Larry after Lawrence Talbot, the Wolfman. If you saw Larry and his teeth sticking out of his mouth, you could see the resemblance between him and the Wolfman from the movies. But, you know, it was tough to find Larry a home because a lot of people didn't want to deal with the challenges that he presented. Or maybe they felt that they couldn't care for him. I don't know. But Punk has said that as soon as they saw Larry, they knew they had to adopt him. And Punk announced the news on Instagram. He said, the grief that we carry is the price we pay for unconditional love. Our little Larry crossed the Rainbow Bridge, wrapped tightly in our arms. He was safe and happy, surrounded by love. We rescued Larry in February of 2015, and he changed our lives. I could never in 1 million years find the words to properly express how much we loved him, nor how much joy he brought us. Nothing I write, no pictures I post would do him justice. He lived a long, amazing life. He watched sunsets. He chased skateboards. He made everywhere we went with him home. What a privilege to be so heartbroken and devastated for having experienced such a bond. I wouldn't change anything. Our boy is at rest. The house is quiet, but we still hear the jingle of his necklace and the tip-taps of his little feet on the hardwood floors. He will always be near. We will always feel him. Our hearts are broken. Until we see you again, we love you forever. In September, Punk said Larry had recently gone in for a surgery of some kind and that he had been driving to the shows with him in a stroller because flights became too much for him. He was a big hit whenever Punk would bring him backstage at WWE shows. And of course, Larry was also part of what will go down as one of the more infamous nights in wrestling history, that being Brawl Out in AEW, where depending on which version of events you believe, he was either whisked away to safety by Kenny Omega when shit hit the fan, or that he was injured in the chaos and had 2 teeth knocked loose, which then later had to be removed. I guess both of those things could be true. So Larry is forever part of wrestling history. He may have been forced to sign an NDA too, so we'll never know the real story. Punk may not have been there, but Braun Breaker was on Monday night, and he cut the promo of his life after it was announced that he will be getting a World Heavyweight Championship match with CM Punk on the very first Raw of the new year. That'll be on January 5th. It's not anything that's going to make, any top 10 all-time promo lists or anything like that, but for Braun, World Heavyweight Championship. WrestleVotes Radio had a report that Braun Breaker's name has emerged as the current whiteboard favorite to win the Royal Rumble. The whiteboard, of course, being, if you watched WWE WrestleMania, because I know that's what he's hoping for, that he can...
What does it mean for WTNA
I
Alliance
recently purchased the most popular glucose
major
meter
TV
online and
upgrade?
decided to test it with you. If you have
It's their
diabetes or know anyone
WWE
dealing with
partnership
it,
code.
After months of wondering and waiting, agreement with WWE that allows them Fox 5 years.
I might as well get back to go on now. Now I can watch Solomon and JD from New York. I can get back to my
Really
Raw review.
needed in the main event mix, so that's good. But I think it's only temporary. We'll talk about that. Deserving of 10. That was our 5-bell salute for LA Knight. Poor LA Knight. What more can be said about LA Knight here on these shows? We saw LA Knight in the finals of the John Cena tournament. Right? He wrestled Gunther on SmackDown last week. I think we all knew how that match was going to go, and sure enough, he lost. Right? So he got, not only did he lose to Gunther on Friday, but he tapped out to Gunther in the middle of the ring. So he tapped out to him. And then, of course, we have tonight, LA Knight finds himself back in the main event on Monday Night Raw, and you would think, well, what a great place for him to be, back in the main event, right? Well, he goes in there in the main event against Logan Paul, and he gets pinned. And then the topper of all toppers here. Now, how does he get pinned? He gets pinned in part due to the Masked Man, who made 2 appearances on the show tonight. Of course, they're not revealing who he is just yet, but he helped cost LA Knight the match. When the match is over, LA Knight gets speared by Braun Breaker, which we've seen a million fucking times over the course of the summer and the fall, and now we're heading into the winter. And then he gets not 1 but 2 tsunami splashes, and so LA Knight gets carried off to the back. But that's not enough, because you see, to end the show tonight, they went backstage to further kick this man's ass, and they proceed to put LA Knight through a table in the backstage area, and when he is still showing some signs of life, they decide, you know what, this man is not buried beneath the earth quite enough just yet. Why don't we dump him on top of a car, and we will have Bronson Reed tsunami splash him on top of the car. That seems to be a sufficient enough beatdown for LA Knight, who then, if you didn't see the post-show footage, was strapped to a gurney and loaded into the back of an ambulance, where he is now en route to the nearest medical facility. So long, LA Knight. It was nice knowing you. That, my friends, is how you write someone off of television. And I can only hope that it's a situation where maybe he asked for some vacation time. Because he is. I mean, last year I think he may have had more matches than anybody in WWE. If not, it was very close. And I think it's very close this year also. If he doesn't have the most matches of anybody on the roster, he's in that top mix. So he's been working a lot of matches, and maybe he gets a well-deserved little break here heading into the holidays. Frankly, it doesn't even really matter what Cena wasn't enough in his final match, which he was never going to do, of course. But so anyway, that was what happened at the and we got another Braun Breaker promo at the end of the show as well. But again, as far as the LA Knight stuff, there's really nothing more that can be said. You know, time after time, like the wins that he has picked up in that John Cena tournament in recent weeks were some of the only real significant wins that he has had in many, many months. You know, he's won a couple of TV matches over the last, 3 or 4 months. What happened at the end of the show? Now, match. And so it's the same thing with Gunther, because they waited until just this past Friday to have the finals of the tournament. There was no time to have any sort of interaction at all between the two of them. Literally, the only interaction that we are going to get between John Cena and Gunther is going to be in the ring on Saturday. So you had Gunther come out, and there's only so much that he can really say. I thought the promo, that he did at the beginning of the show was good. But what's left to say? You know, the story they are going to tell here is that he is intent on not only beating John Cena, but submitting him, tapping him out, forcing him to do the one thing that he has not done in 20 plus years. Although to hear WWE tell it, it's never been done before, because nothing existed before the year 2005. But that's the story they're telling going into Saturday. And I am looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to the match. They added a new match to the Saturday night's main event card, which is one that I hope I helped will into existence when I mentioned it on the Sound Off yesterday. I'm very happy about this. One other person who will not be in main events anymore. He's got to change his name now. Main event Jey Uso is dead. There is no more main event Jey Uso. It's back to tag team Jey Uso, which is really where he belongs right now. He's not really needed in the main event mix. So that's good. But I think it's only temporary. We'll talk about that. And not a whole lot else happened on this show. In all honesty, this show was pretty boring tonight. It was not offensively boring, but it was nonetheless mostly a drag to sit through. This was not a terribly exciting show to watch. This review will hopefully be more exciting and entertaining than Raw was tonight. This is your Raw on Netflix review. It is Monday. It is December 8th, 2000. A white Nakamura. That is quite the analogy. Cena wasn't enough. He would break Cena's spirit. Cena midget that he's going to bring out to the ring to beat S out. You know they're going to have their commercial breaks in between the matches, and they're going to plug all their shit. If they feel they need a lot of time for Cena, for the entrances, for the match, for maybe a post-match speech, I get it. I mean, from start to finish, all the Cena stuff alone is probably going to be at least an hour. Right? And then that leaves the 3 other matches, so if you want to give them some length, I get it. It would be nice to get one more match, but it looks like they're probably going to keep it at 4. We had a singles match between Io Sky, who came out to the ring with Rhea Ripley, and no more protective mask for Rhea. Io took on Kairi Sane, who came out with her Tag Team Championship partner Asuka in her corner. Before the match, they showed the new NXT champion. He is him. He's that guy. He's the ruler, Oba Femi. The brand new NXT champion. He won the belt back from Ricky Saints at Deadline on Saturday. They showed him in the front row. They plugged his match against Cody Rhodes coming up on Saturday night's main event. Io was about to go for a dive. Asuka jumped up on the apron to block it as Kairi distracted the referee. Io went after Asuka. Asuka, though, dropped the rope, and Io spilled out to the floor. Ripley then confronted Asuka. Kairi used that distraction to take down Io.
You know that story where slow and steady wins? That's terrible advice. Things move fast in the modern workforce. I'm at University of Phoenix, where I earn skills
Right now has penciled in. Now I'm nowhere. I'm sitting my ass 2025. I am your host, JD from New York, as always. Coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Monday evening, wherever you may be. Is honestly, he's a secondary champion. He's beneath that championship. Or I should say, above that championship. The championship is beneath him. He's way too important to be holding that type of championship. It's the secondary title in the company. I firmly believe that LA Knight should have won the World Heavyweight Championship that night, and LA Knight should right now be the World Heavyweight Champion on Monday Night Raw. LA Knight has done nothing since that Saturday night's main event. He entered himself into the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament, got all the way to the finals. It was a nice way to give him some wins, 2 of which were over The Miz. You fucking break. Actually, no, he didn't win twice over The Miz. The Miz was in the tournament twice. He wrestled Jey Uso and then wrestled LA Knight. No difference. One of them was over The Miz. I don't understand where they're going with LA Knight. He gets to the finals of the tournament. He loses to Gunther in a very competitive match. Very good on Friday Night SmackDown. We all know how that was going to end anyway. Like, everybody knew exactly what was going to happen. He's over as fuck. To 8. I think we all kind of realized that LA Knight was going to the finals against Gunther. Ultimately lost. That was on Friday. Before he was Tsunami backstage, off of a production crate on top of a white rental car, he got powerbombed through a table. Needless to say, LA Knight got his ass handed to him tonight. Yeah. I don't want to wear my tinfoil hat, but I'm going to assume that nobody is going to make a big deal. Again, I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't want to come up with something and then it doesn't happen. And I don't want to get your guys' hopes up if you're an LA Knight fanatic. But this has to be leading to something. It has to be going somewhere. Now, this week we heard rumors that WWE right now has penciled in to win the Royal Rumble. Braun Breaker is penciled right now in as the early favorite to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know who has plans like that and will leak them to the dirt sheets. I don't know why plans like that are even circulating in and around social media. The only people who know who's going to win the Royal Rumble are 3 or 4 guys. Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, whoever else is head of the writing team, and Nick Khan. That's it. Very, very small circle of people. I would assume that information like that is held under heavy lock and key. The other rumor is Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble and he goes to WrestleMania and he gets Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 42 in the trilogy that nobody asked for. Again, I don't want to put my tinfoil cap on here, but all of this failing and coming up short, he even mentioned it tonight. And he's certainly written off television for the rest of the year. There's no reason to bring him back before the year's over. I genuinely wonder if WWE is setting up LA Knight to win the 2026 Royal Rumble. Now, I don't know if that's a possibility, given how he's been booked. His fanfare and his reactions do not dissipate. They do not lessen. They do not decrease. I mean, he was over as fuck tonight in Kansas City. He's over as fuck everywhere he goes. It is not let up in about 3 years now. The guy is over. The fans love him. The fans want to see more of him. The fans want to see him climb the highest mountain. The WWE says they're in tune, they're in sync with what the fans want. If you are a WWE fan and you watch the show weekly, then you're probably very appreciative of what LA Knight brings to the table. He plays a pseudo character that kind of dips into the Stone Cold pool, mixed with The Rock. And he brings his own brand of flair and enthusiasm and charismatic attitude to it. It's a great, great feel. And it's fun. And he's not boring. He's never boring. He's the type of guy that I think if you give the ball to let him run with it for a couple of months, I'm not even asking for a fucking 6-month title reign or a fucking 12-month title reign or one of these long drawn-out title reigns that Triple H loves to produce nowadays. We're not even asking for that. We're asking for something that gives this guy his fucking flowers after all the work that he's put in to get himself to this level. That's it. Give him a couple of months. Give him a couple of title defenses. Give him the fucking feel. Let him sit in the fucking seat. Let him feel what it feels like to be the fucking man. The guy is giving you everything that he has. Give back to him. The guy has produced a lot of money for you. I'm sure he's not and asks for more. What more could he give you? What? And this is coming from an LA Knight fan. Not the biggest LA Knight fan. But the guy obviously has put in the fucking work. You watch this show week in and week out, and you just know who's ready, who's not, who should be where, who should not be there. Who you're tired of, who you want to see more of. 2026 needs to focus on yet another guy. I've been mentioning on Friday night. 2026 needs to be the year of Carmelo Hayes. In a year where John Cena is retiring on Saturday. And the entire show is built around giving back to the future. Giving the future the spotlight. And 2026 needs to be a year where WWE cultivates the young talent and pushes them up the ranks to start creating the future of this company. Obafemi, Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, LA Knight. He's not as young as those guys. Some of those guys. But he needs to be in discussion. He needs to be in discussion for whatever he's done this year. He needs to be in discussion for rewarding him. Too much damage is being done to a character that the fans want to see more of, and the fans want to see get his just deserves. I genuinely don't know if that's going to happen. I feel for the LA Knight fans out there. Genuinely. We'll talk about what happened to him. He theoretically was written off television. I don't see him coming back at all for the rest of the year. Why? I don't know. His battle with the Vision continues. A battle that should have culminated in War Games, which he was not a part of. The Masked Man. He started LA Knight's terrible evening off by costing him a win against Logan Paul tonight in the main event. I see some people still on social media. I see content creators making videos about, who's the Masked Man? The Masked Man is not Seth Rollins. The Masked Man is not Chris Jericho. Don't know why WWE would be pushing a mystery character on television for a guy that theoretically is signed with another company for the next 3 weeks. I get that you need engagement, and you need those pennies on the dollar that Elon pays out every 3 weeks, but no, it's not Chris Jericho. It's not. The Masked Man seemingly is still Austin Theory. It's not Seth Rollins because it would be fucking ridiculous. If it was Seth Rollins, why would he have vacated the championship? Why would he have been kicked out of the Vision only to then help the Vision and then rejoin them after being kicked out? This is not some elaborate master plan. This is not a work. This is legitimate. Seth Rollins is injured. He's not the Masked Man. Jericho does not move the way that the Masked Man is moving. Sorry to tell you, Jericho looks great, but he's in his 50s and he doesn't move that well anymore. I don't know who else you guys think it is. The Brooklyn Brawler, Doink, Skinner. Some of you guys in the chat were saying Montez Ford. Could be Montez Ford. I don't fucking know. He would certainly fit the Vision. But then Austin Theory would be shit out of luck. Because the plans involved Austin Theory to be in War Games. Then Rollins got hurt. And Jacob Fatu got hurt. And Austin Theory had to be removed because they had to put Lesnar and Rhodes and McIntyre inside the War Games to make it make sense, and Austin Theory was left on the sidelines. No, it's not Montez Ford. He could certainly fit into the Vision. He very much fits in the vision of what the Vision means and what the Vision stands for. But no, this is not Montez Ford. It is Austin Theory.
Over the weekend, searches for college football coaching changes saw a 660% spike. Biggest news, Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss.
February 5th, and hopefully, WWE will reveal that the Masked Man helps Braun Breaker win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk and reveals himself to be Austin Theory. But no, it is not Rollins, it is not Montez Ford, it's not Chris Jericho, it's not anybody else you think it is. It is very much Austin Theory. WWE wants you to think it's not who everybody thinks it is. I won't be surprised if WWE has a different fucking guy underneath the mask every single fucking time to throw us off the scent. Oh, that don't look like Austin Theory. I've seen some people saying that it wasn't the same guy that was at Survivor Series. Of course it's not going to be. WWE's going to play with you. They're going to toy with you. Had a heart-to-heart and sit down with them, and they've come to a conclusion that they need to be together to win championship gold. We're struggling individually. We're better together. Basically what it boils down to. So we'll talk about that. The ladies got some solid action tonight. Kairi Sane versus Io Sky. Stephanie Vicaire has the next challenger for the Women's World Championship. Nikki Bella, unfortunately, still wants another match. Nobody asked for it. Liv and Roxanne are now focusing on the tag team titles, which is a very interesting aspect. It's a nice switcheroo from what we got a couple of weeks ago. Tonight was a solid Monday Night Raw, and we got another match signed, sealed, and delivered for Saturday night's main event. one that could theoretically steal the entire show, and one that I am instantly invested in. We'll go over what that is and what Triple H should do when it comes to Saturday night's main events this Saturday on Peacock. This is your Monday Night Raw review. It is December 8th, 2025. Tonight we are powered by Turtle Beach. TurtleBeach.com/scripts. Make sure you guys go out there and get anything you need this holiday season from Turtle Beach. 10% off all of your orders by using that code SCRIPTS. TurtleBeach.com.
Well, Mike will stop the video. I made it long enough. I made it pretty short, but not much to talk about, so thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below you guys want to see more. Gonna end it early because not much to talk about.
.com/scripts. I want to thank.
I will see y'all later.